Hi everyone, I'm Alice. I create figures and garage kit as an independent artist for my Patreon. Today I bring you the speed sculpt of the dodogama. You can download the STLs files for free to 3D print on my Patreon. After the positive response of my last video, I have decided to keep making them, even if I start jumping uncontrollably. I would like to talk to you about my perspective on some recent controversies, but I'm not going to speak about the people who have been cancelled. I want to focus more on the people who enjoy their content. Okay, let me explain myself from the beginning. As someone who grew up in a little town, isolated from civilization and modernity, and who started to watch anime at a young age, I always felt a little disconnected from the trends that all my classmates followed. When I saw people crying or getting emotional because their football team won or lost on Sunday, for example, I couldn't help thinking about how it does affect your life if the winners lose. It's not going to change your financial situation unless you are beaten. You are not going to get a promotion at work, and your health is not going to improve. It never made sense to me. I can enjoy a good football match, but why all the emotion? To sum up what I read very briefly, when a fan's team wins, especially if the victory is unexpected, it triggers the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure. It is like a drug for the brain. I mean, it's addictive. According to the magazine Muy Interesante, in my language, the most important thing is that the brain quickly gets used to expecting these neural rewards. One of the areas of the nervous system where the most dopamine is produced is the called sustancia negra, which is located in the midbrain and plays a key role in learning. The repetition of these rewards creates a lasting signal in the brain, encouraging individuals to experience such a sensation to seek it again. These, therefore, their brains that dictate from the depths of their neurons the need to chase this unpredictable moment of ecstasy. And because of the randomness that is inherent to sport, it happens more easily than with other activities. So they will always want more. Put that away, it makes total sense now. We could even call it the opium of the people. After years of having understood this, I started to listening to YouTube videos while working, something many of you are probably used to. I realized that when I began watching videos related to art or artists, YouTube will also start suggesting videos titled things like the fall of this Greece artist or why this artist ruined their entire career. Well, curiosity killed the cat. Basically went down a rabbit hole of channels that call out or cancel artists. And to be honest, once you have heard one, you have heard all of them. Most of the time the issues are the same: inappropriate behavior with minors, using AI, or selling not safe for work art while being underage, among other reasons. But that it is. There is usually nothing more. And after watching 3 or 4 of those videos, I noticed how popular they are. And the same question I asked myself when I was younger come back to me. How does this affect your life? Could it be that this kind of videos release dopamine in some people? Gossip has always been something interesting, but traditionally it was about people who were close, or at least known personally. It is different when it comes to big-name artists that were all come across at some point, like Ross, for example. I recently came across this tweet where a user named Bisul comments, Ross, ex-employee, speaking up and unpacking a lot of thought bombs here. Ross using Gen AH and misleading people about it, for example. And leaked this tweet of Phoenix Soul 22, and which they attach a document file with serious accusations with 20-page. Holy shit, I'm not gonna read that all that shit. When you search for this artist's name on YouTube, there are already two results on the first two rows talking about the cancellation. One because of that document and another for using AI. But if I am not mistaken, has his artist not been in the art world for years, even before AI was capable of generating mass-produced image? How it is possible that after years of creating art, the first things that show up when you search his name online is the scandal? Has the controversy become more famous than the artist's work himself? To be completely honest, I have no idea how Google's algorithms plays results, or if it's just something affected my own browser history, I don't know. But I would like to believe that the scandal has not grown larger than the artist, so I looked for the videos to support my opinion. A Rust Rose tutorial from 8 years ago has nearly 300,000 views. Meanwhile, a video from another channel discussing the controversy has 220,000 views. Considering the time each one has uploaded, 8 years versus 1 month, I think I have some ground to stand on for my theory. So my question is this: do people actually care about art, or are they, quite literally, more interested in the scandal caused by a great artist using AI? For a long time now, I will even say for the last 2 years or more, we have seen how artists have built a community with a very strong hatred toward the so-called AI bros. And honestly, it is completely understandable, so I'm not going to dive deep into that topic. Anyone in their mind will be angry at a group that is quite literally taking their jobs, minimizing their work, and devaluating years of effort. It is like, the Middle Age, where we will call them traitor or witches and burn them at the stake. And if the scandal is about something completely unrelated to AI, like the uses I mentioned earlier, then what is that motivates people to consume these videos so fervently? It is just morbid curiosity. Could it be that smaller or mid-tier artists who have not yet had their moment feel a little satisfaction in seeing a great artist fall from the pedestals? Has the social justice warrior spirit that has been nurtured for years on Twitter spread like a pandemic? Honestly, I don't have all the answers. I would really love to know what people think, but I literally have no way to find out. All I can do is ask directly to the few who are still listening at this point in the video. It is true that most of these scandals involve famous artists, but there are also entire YouTube channels dedicated to calling out smaller, lesser known artists. One of them is Cat and Chat, a channel that basically only makes videos like, oh my god, an artist using AI, or oh my god, an artist traces another artist. Well, I'm generalizing a lot. Nothing against these videos or the artist who made them, is her way of making a living. To be honest, I don't really care much about that kind of content. It's not something I actively seek out. However, what does catch my attention are the comments on those videos. Most of the people commenting are artists themselves, which is not surprising. What is surprising is how full of love are those comment arts. I was expecting a flood of hate, people dragging others trying to cancel every artist who use AI, but no. Most of the comments are simply thanking the content creator for taking the time to research, compare, and expose these issues, all the topics. There are also comments from people who just want to share their perspective, offer comparisons, or give their own opinions of the topic, which I think is the most logical and constructive way to interact with a YouTube video. What I find curious is how much hate there is in some social media platforms like Twitter, but then in YouTube, which is are gonna be easier to be anonymous, the hate is just not there. Maybe it's just because validation on Twitter is more immediate, or because the chance of the person you are talking about actually seeing your posts are way higher. On YouTube, you will have to specifically search for the video where you are being cancelled and then read through all the comments. But in Twitter, you can just tag the person directly. Also, the fact that likes are not private on Twitter does not help. People can now like anything, and it would just be safe privately, like a little collection of bookmarked chaos. So a lot of people who don't have time to read 20 damn fucking pages of call-out posts just give them a like to save for later, and entertainment on hold. And well, at the expense of someone else's scandal. Lately, I have been reading a lot about how their community is completely messed up and super toxic. But honestly, if we look back, we will find plenty of examples of well-known artists who were, quite frankly, absolute garbage as human beings. Dali, Picasso, Caravaggio, the mustache man who was rejected from art school, Diego Rivera, just to name a few. For years, I have believe that we should separate the art from the artist, even through as a subjective human being and not a machine. Sometimes I find it really hard to do so. Still, I try to remind myself, if a piece of art moves me, if it stirs some kind of emotion in me, I should respect it on its own, even if the artist is a completely jerk. But there's the thing, the real problem we have nowadays is that when an artist becomes famous, they will keep having tons of followers and people willing to commission them, buying their merch and support their work. Some of their followers might not be up to date with drama, some might just not care, or some might consciously separate the art from the person, and this drives a lot of people insane. Because there are tons of smaller artists out there who do care and who believe that they deserve the recognition more than someone being labeled a bad person. So then comes the big push, the massive campaigns to tear those big names down from their pedestals. And the smaller artists start to think, maybe if they fall, I will finally have my chance to grow. Because nowadays, people value followers and exposure way more than the value of their actual, art quality. Especially when it comes to smaller artists. Maybe I'm being cynical. Maybe I'm the rotten one here, thinking that people get dopamine hit from watching someone fall just because they want to take their spot. But you know what they always told me? Think the worst and you will probably be right. Even I personally enjoy true crime podcasts, murderers, serial killers. I'm weirdly curious. There is something about that dark, twisted morbidness that just draws you in. And I think that is exactly what happened with these mass call-out videos. There has to be some kind of dopamine hit, some excitement, some curiosity, some morbid pleasure. Or maybe it's just simply that for artists the entertainment options are so limited that this is all we have left. Honestly, I would love to see reality shows where everyone is an artist. In my country, we have the absolutely trash show. Let's be honest, it's a complete garbage, called First Dates. It is basically blind dates, filmed during dinner, where people get to know each other and decide whether they like the person or not, and if they are gonna have a second date. But every now and then they do these special editions. One of the most iconic ones features this guy who thought he was literally Kira Yoshikage from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He gave his date an anonymous gift, a sandwich, before the dinner even started, so the expectations were already high.
Mira, esto lo ha dejado tu cita para ti. Yo quiero que lo abras y que me digas lo que hay dentro que te inspira.
He traído este aperitivo para conquistarte por el estómago. Es una mano de un maniquí.
¿Ah?
¿Y hay más cosas?
Sí,
Hay más cosas. Un bocadillo de mortadela.
And then, during the actual dinner, he ate using the half on a mannequin, a plate of pasta. Well, both of them were dressed in a full cosplay, by the way. It was pure spectacle. Now, just imagine how wild things could get if we have a version of that, but just with artists. Now I'm going to show you the business cards I've collected over the years at different events from various artists. I will pick one at random and showcase their artwork on screen. I will also leave their social media links in the description. Well, I hope you had a great time. Now I'm going to display this month's patrons on the screen. Thank you all so much for your support. Yay! You already know you can support me on Patreon, and now we have a Discord server. Yippee! I will probably be cancelled in a few years about that server. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoy. Bye bye. See you next time, Space Cowboy.